homogeneous.
Homogenous.
What's your approach about it? How do you think the sound, the way of blowing, the way of flowing?
A lot of that has to do with my setup, with the reed, the mouthpiece. Because as you know, sometimes you have a reed on there where you can just go right up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's flexible and everything, it's fine. Sometimes reeds just, you won't let you go up there. You know, I have a reed now that's, it thinks about it for a minute, whether or not it's going to let you upstairs to the attic, you know. And if it decides that, well, maybe okay, today you can go up there, and it lets you up. You know, and it depends on how you approach it, how you approach the note too, like where you're coming from on the horn, you know, and what you're doing up there, you know. You better know what you're doing up there. And a lot of times it's just, you know, you're just kind of sliding through, you're going up for effect. So you can go. So it just depends on what you want to say up there. There's a guy in the States named Lenny Pickett. I don't know if you know who he is. He can play up there. He can play like, he can articulate all of those notes. It's the freakiest thing ever. And he can go up an octave higher than, he can go up higher than that on tenor. Like up to where only dogs can hear. It's like, it's weird. And he'll be playing like, you'll see him go, and it's like, wait a minute. I know something's going on, but I can't. Oh, yeah. I don't know how he does it. But he told me that he sat there with a tuner for hours and would practice playing up those notes. And he can, like, really articulate up there. It's really unbelievable. Be way beyond Sigurd Roscher, you know. But you know, I mean, you have fingerings up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same stuff that you know.
Yeah. But you then change your position of your neck or your.
Yeah, but it's so unconscious that I don't know. Yeah, I think it. For me, it's just you need to know what it is that you're doing up there. Like, why am I here? You know, am I here for effect? Am I here? Am I trying to play notes up there? I don't necessarily play a lot of ideas. Sometimes when you're in the heat of battle, you know, you can kind of get up there and you can play better than you think. But when you're just like, so I'm standing here and I'm trying to have it make sense and in tune, it's not going to work. But when you're, you know, when you got everybody's playing and you go up there and go, you know, you just kind of get like, it's like circuit.
Yeah.
You kind of you ride the wave up to the top. So that's the best way I know how to answer that question. You know, I don't know if that answered your question.
No,
do you want me to expand on it?
Because it's often, you know, because when you want to play that note, often I
close
my lips, you know, and so the sound is more close than.
That's why this.
Yes,
that's why that's important because.
Yes, I can see you don't change your position.
Yeah. So I mean, you try not to do too much of this.
Yes.
What I noticed is most of the really good players, people that I respect, they play very correctly. You know, correctly. They play like if you see Wayne play, it's almost if you took the horn out of his mouth, you couldn't tell any difference in his face. He looks like there's not a lot going on there because he's got so much focus and so much control. You know, I mean, he'll physically do stuff, but that's more like almost dancing to what he's playing. You know, but he, as a player, he's got a lot of control. You know? Benny Carter was like that too. Phil Woods is like that. People that I really, that's somebody I forgot to mention who's very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I really tried to emulate Phil. Phil has that thing. This is where I got like. That's my version of Phil. Just trying to imitate his solos, like. Just trying to imitate his phrasing. I was always trying to sound like him. And because I was always also listening to Jackie McLean and Hank Crawford, so some of that came in. So wherever my sound and approach came from all those guys. Of me trying to sound like them. Somebody asked Miles Davis one time, like where his idea came from, his sound, his conception, and he said, "I was just trying to sound like Roy Eldridge." I mean, it's like, so there you go. That's the process. And the worst thing that can happen to you is if you try to imitate somebody and you succeed. You might as well stop. Because there's already one of those. We don't need another John Coltrane. There's 9 million tenor players that can play giant steps. It's already been done. We don't need any more of that. It's good to learn that and use it as a tool, but you got to go someplace after that. Because it's about what you have to say. And then it gets difficult. Because it's like, then you got to think, oh shit, what do I have to say? What do I have to say about the world that's different? And how can I bring all this love that I have for Sonny Rollins and John Coltrane and Hank Crawford and make it a tribute to them rather than an imitation of them? That's the job of music. Because otherwise, that's like technique. You can get all the technique in the world, but if that's all it is, it's just like typing. It's like, so what? You can type fast, big deal. I mean, something I think helped me in a weird kind of way. I've only recently started to think this. I had polio when I was a kid, so I have a bad left hand. So I can't always control, my muscles in the left hand. So I don't have a lot of traditional technique. I can play certain things in a certain way, but I don't, I physically can't do certain things. So it forced me to find other ways, around my limitations. And sometimes your limitations shape the way you play, and it helps you become who you are. You have to accept them. Just like you have to, in life, you have to accept yourself. You don't try to be somebody else. The hardest thing in the world is to be yourself. Because then it's like, oh shit, this is me. And it's like, then you're like out there. And when you're playing music, it's like, we all want to impress the girls. Let's be honest, or the guys, whatever the case may be, But, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be, this is who I am. And it takes a certain amount of, I don't know if it's confidence, but focus and dedication to be able to do that. And to be able to, accept the fact that, you're not always going to play great. Like I did just now. I mean, I'm just like, for whatever reason, I'm just not, I can't focus. But, you got to accept that, because